This is the 2025 GMC Yukon AT4. Is it everything you were looking for? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I borrowed this Yukon from my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about this model or anything else they have in inventory, check out the link down in the description of the video. The exterior color is Summit White. This is obviously going to be a four-wheel drive model. And the interior is Forest Storm with mahogany accents. And you'll notice the power assist steps here that will automatically deploy when you open the doors, and then when you close the doors, it takes a couple of seconds or so. That's good because if somebody needs to get in or out at the last second, that's going to be very useful. And when you're washing your AT4, if you need to leave those deployed, there is a setting on the infotainment screen that will allow you to do that, or if there's any other reason why you need to do that. And we're going to go over all of that later in the video. You will find full LED lighting, LED headlights, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights, also LED taillights. You'll see the animated effect there with the headlights. And we'll find our red recovery hooks here on the front end. A little bit of a different look compared to other trim levels as far as the grille and the bumper go. Here on the front end, you're going to find not only those red recovery hooks, but also the front skid plate. Kind of hard to show, but it is there. You're going to have a 2-speed transfer case. Being that it's the AT4, it will be four-wheel drive. You're going to find 20-inch wheels, the limited slip differential. You're going to have the 2-speed transfer case, magnetic ride control. All of those great features are going to be here. The AT4 logo right down there on the lower portion of the front doors, also on the front end. And we'll find a few nice little tricks here. If we push the button right here, that means you can fold in or unfold your power folding side view mirrors that are also power adjustable, heated. They're going to have the turn signal indicators built in, as you can see right there. We're going to hit the button just so you can see those in action, and you can see the camera right there. There are cameras all over the exterior of this Yukon. Something that I like a lot, passive entry on the front doors and the rear doors on both sides. You can lock and unlock all 4 doors from either door. That can have a lot of benefits. You have the roof rails up top. If you need to buy the crossbars to help increase cargo capacity, you can do that. Here with the rear roof spoiler, you're going to find that you have your rear window wiper concealed within. The nice clean look back here with that, I like it. That's a good thing. And something that we don't see on a lot of SUVs anymore is the fact that if I hit this bottom button right here, you'll notice the glass popped open. That means I can reach up here and open that and gain access to the interior, your cargo space, if you need to, just to reach in and reach out real quick. No big deal where that is concerned. And there is your remote lock, unlock, remote start, and you can open and close your power tailgate and obviously pop the glass open right there, as well as hit the button right there, the panic button, if you need to do that. And back here on the rear, you're also going to find the animated LED taillights. Now that doesn't look very bright, but it is extremely bright after dark. There's another AT4 logo, and we finish things off with the quad tip exhaust. Under the hood is the naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8. It makes 420 horsepower and 460 pounds-feet of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. How about those all-important MPGs? Well, here's the window sticker. It tells us 14 city, 18 highway, 16 combined, and 6.2 gallons of gas for every 100 miles driven. Now, that's not a guarantee that you're going to achieve those numbers. You might do better, you might not do as well. It just depends on quite a few variables. And if you're wondering about your gas tank size, it's going to be 24 gallons in capacity. And on a single tank of gas, you should be able to drive about 336 miles in the city and 442 miles out on the highway. Towing capacity ranges between 7,500 and 8,000 pounds. Now here's something that's very interesting. When you walk up to the rear of the vehicle, you're going to notice I'm not doing anything. It's just beeping. And then the tailgate opens. That's your hands-free access. Now there are a few different ways that you can do that, depending on what you want to do. There's a button on the tailgate itself. There's the button on the remote. There's also a button on the interior And if that feature isn't working, here are two things you need to look at. First of all, make sure that this dial is not set to off. Make sure it's set to max or 3/4. That can be an issue. And you also need to come in here to settings, vehicle. We're going to go down here to comfort and convenience and make sure that hands-free storage access is set to open only. You will find a spare tire located underneath the rear of the vehicle, and depending on how you configure things here in the rear cargo area, you'll have 25.5 up to 122.8 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. We're going to lower those rear seats right there. You can do that. You can lower and raise the seats. You can see that's why you had the down and the up arrows. There is a little bit of a difference with the middle seats. You can lower those, as you can see, with the buttons right here, but you will have to manually put those back up. But here is how everything looks when your cargo capacity is maximized. You'll also find the power outlet right here that will have much benefit, and underneath the floor not only is there plenty of storage, but also the tools to change a tire if that's something you need to do. There is no shortage of space within the interior, no matter what we're talking about. Whether it is the door bin, you have a combination of the lower door bin and the upper door bin. A little bit less space up here, but you know what? It's additional space. That works. A nice large armrest. And depending on how things are configured here in the back seat area, whether it's the second row or the third row, will determine how much space we have. A lot of space to move these seats back and forth. The seat over here on the driver's side is all the way forward. The seat over there on the passenger side is all the way back. And that will help rear seat passengers, third row passengers. And the way that you deal with that is you use this release to move the seats back and forth. And you'll see ×2 right here. So what happens when we do that ×2 right there? We're going to hit that once and then one more time, and that raises the seat so that we can easily gain access to the third row. Let me move that seat back up, and I'll show you that I have a lot of leg space as far as that goes. Now, if I was over here on the passenger side, here's what I would have as well. Not so much leg space, but it depends on who you are. Some people might be good with that. They might fit just fine. There's the air conditioning vent. I am a big fan of the roof-mounted air conditioning vents. You can see that the middle and the third row passengers have that. A USB port and a cup holder with some space built in behind that for storage, and that's going to be on both sides. When it comes to getting out of the third row, well, you could use that pass-through right there. You could use the manual release. Pull on that twice, or we can hit the button right here once, and then a second time right there, and the seat gets right up and out of the way. And before we jump into the second row, there is the panoramic sunroof. That front portion will open, and there is a power shade that can be drawn back and forth depending on what everybody in the interior wants as far as that goes. Additional storage space is found with the rear seat pockets, cup holders on the rear of the center console, and here is the command center for the third zone of climate control. You're going to have fan speed and temperature control right here. We'll also find some USB connectivity, and there's another power outlet right here if that is needed. So quite a bit going on in the way of connectivity. Also, heated seats for the middle row passengers with the captain's chairs. Right now, here in Northwest Louisiana, we do not need that. What are your lows right now in the middle of May? Our lows are in the high 70s. The one thing I do wish GMC would change back here is the length of the armrest. You can see that my arm has a little bit of space left on there. I'd rather have the space extend out here, the armrest extend out here a little bit more. Not necessarily a huge deal, but something worth pointing out. The driver and the passenger seats are fully adjustable. They're heated and ventilated, and both have lumbar support. There's going to be a little bit of space on the side of the center console that allows for additional storage capacity. Here is the control for drive mode, and all of your exterior lighting settings are right there. If you're looking for how to turn the auto stop start feature off, it's right here. There's your power parking brake. And the control right here adjusts the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. The sticker price is $84,200 for those who may be curious to know. We'll hop on into the interior, and you can see the animated graphics that come up on the driver's display and the 16.8-inch screen. We'll go ahead and fire things up and take a look at what we have here within the interior. Now, you'll have your glove box over here. Nothing out of the ordinary, but a reasonable amount of space in there. We're going to hit OK right here and then hit stay in demo mode. You'll find the rear view camera mirror, which is adjustable in a multitude of ways. Depending on what you need to do, you can adjust the position, the brightness, different things like that. You can use it as a conventional rear view mirror if you want to. And we've taken a look at the upper console, but there's a couple of things here that I want to talk about that we didn't talk about earlier. Obviously, you have your lights right there, your map lights. You can open and close the sunroof. There's where you open and close the shade. And the button right here, that's going to allow you to use the power sliding console. There's a couple of different advantages to that. Number one, if you have really lazy middle row passengers and they're not willing to reach up for their drinks, well, they can get them out of the drink holders that way. Now, hopefully it's not really that bad. A little bit of extra storage space is available not only with this area, but right here as well. You're going to have that hidden drawer. That's very nice to have. And then we're going to just bring that back forward again. That conceals everything away. Nice and simple. I really like that. It works quite well. And we're going to go over here and take a look at the driver's side door. Now, one thing at this price point that I do think should be here is seat memory for the passenger side. It's only on the driver's side. Tell me what you think about that. And we have the controls for our power side view mirrors. Now, if you want to, there's a feature, a setting, I should say, in the infotainment screen where you can automatically set your mirrors to fold and unfold if you want to when you lock and unlock the vehicle, controls for your windows and door locks. And I told you that you have multiple driving modes earlier in the video. What exactly are those driving modes? Well, let's go through and see. You're going to start with normal, and then we go to sport, off-road, and your tow haul mode. And the driver's display. Now you might say, wow, I'm really glad to see that you have the built-in navigation, but what if I don't want that on my instrument cluster / driver's display, whichever you want to call that? This is the button that you're going to use to change that. And when we push that button, here are the different options as far as what you can do and what you can see. It just depends on your personal preference or needs. You can see that it's 82 degrees outside at 10:06 a.m., which isn't too bad in my personal opinion. Some people might say, woo, that's hot. But for me, it's not too bad. There is your nice, bright head-up display. You can adjust that within the infotainment screen. You have your steering wheel mounted controls, including your heated steering wheel. For obvious reasons, I sure don't need that today. Here's your shifter paddles for the 10-speed transmission. On the back of the steering wheel, we'll find the controls right here for the volume. Over there on the left-hand side, you'll find the controls for changing the station that you're listening to or whatever it is you're listening to, depending on if you're listening to something with Apple CarPlay, on YouTube, whatever it is. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are here, by the way. We're going to cancel that. Your 16.8-inch touchscreen is quite an experience. Not complicated to learn or use, but there is a lot going on here. You have Google Assistant where you can say, hey, I'm not going to do it because I'll set off devices in some of your homes, but you can ask all kinds of questions, give commands. You can even set up navigation without doing anything other than just speaking to Google. I like that. You'll have the Play Store if you need to add any apps right there. Alexa, Amazon Alexa is going to be right there. And we'll also have the settings for trailering, climate control, all of that. There's your auto park assist. I'm not going to cover every single little thing, but I did want to show you one thing that's interesting. How about your child safety locks? Believe it or not, that is now located right here. So when it's highlighted in blue like that, your child safety locks on your rear doors are active. When it is not highlighted like that, they are not active. The controls are no longer on the rear doors as they were for the last several years. And here is where you adjust the head-up display. If you need to do that, you can see what you can do there. And you can also see one more thing I wanted to go through here. Also, you can add your universal remotes. And check this out. You can add as many as 8. If you have 8 remotes, I'm curious to know where you live and how big of a house you must have to be able to do that. Or maybe you just have some for home, some for work. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. Now, one thing I like to go in and show you is what you have here under your settings. I'm not going to go through every single little thing here, but there are some things that people commonly ask about that I do want to show, and that has to do with your collision detection systems. What exactly are they? You know you have blind spot monitoring built into your side view mirrors. You also have forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert, lane change alert, park assist with braking, rear cross traffic braking, and rear pedestrian alert. So a lot of great features going on where that is concerned. How about your cameras? There are cameras everywhere. You have your overhead view right there. You have your front view and rear view cameras. Also another couple of options on the overhead view depending on what you need to see and where you need to see. I pointed out those side view mirror cameras earlier. Here are your two views where that is concerned, minus the tongue twist. And if you need to back up to a trailer or maybe just see what's behind you and you want to see that from a little bit closer view, there is how you're going to do that. So quite a few nice things. Now, we're going to go back into vehicle and into settings. Let's go to comfort and convenience right here. If you want your mirrors to fold and unfold when you lock and unlock your Yukon, this needs to be checked like that. If it isn't, if it's unchecked and it has that gray icon right there, then that's not on. You can turn it on just like that. Very simple. Your rain sensing wipers, auto wipe in reverse gear. When you turn that on, that means when you go into reverse, your rear window wiper is going to wipe the rear window off. Don't know that I would leave that on. If your chime volume is too high, here's where you're going to come to adjust that. Quite a few things going on where that's concerned that I don't think I need to tell you about, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview where that is concerned. Something I am very happy about is the presence of physical controls for the dual zone climate control here in the front seat area. That's nice to see. You can still go right here and manage several things from within the screen if you want to, but you don't have to do it that way. And here is how we turn on the heated and ventilated seats. The ventilated seats are what we definitely need today. You can sync everything right there or right here, depending on what you need to do. The hunt and peck method, as I like to call it, does very well for just going through and finding things. Just select every option you see and you'll learn what's here. But it's not complicated. Now, one thing that is missing is a sunglass holder, at least a dedicated sunglass holder. That used to be right here. And I know somebody's going to say that that's what is right here. Now, you could use this as a sunglass holder, but that's very big, the biggest sunglass holder in history. Possibly, I don't know. But you could use it for that and several other things, depending on what you want to do. And something else that is different for 2025, if this is your first time looking at a 25 Yukon, is that what you don't have here. You'll notice the differences in the design of the overall dash area, which does not include the push button shifter with the push-pull options. You have a more conventional style shifter right here. And we'll have our wireless charging pad, a couple of USB options, our cup holders, the AT4 logo right here, not only on the lid for the center console, but also on the headrests, only on the front headrests. Hey, GMC, put it on all the headrests. That's what I think should be the case. Tell me what you think down in the comment section. Plenty of room within the center console, as you can see, and the lid will double as an armrest. Okay, here we go on our test drive with the Yukon AT4. It has a very comfortable ride quality. The seats themselves are comfortable. Now, I can't tell you for sure what the ride quality is in the second and third rows for obvious reasons. Don't have anyone to drive and me sit back there, but I can tell you that the driver and passenger seats up here are very comfortable, great for a nice long road trip, very easy to deal with as far as that goes. And adjustability is not a problem. No matter what your height is, whether you're tall, whether you're short, no matter what the situation is, you can adjust the seat and the power adjustable steering wheel wherever you need that to be. The mirrors, everything here, fully adjustable and very easy to deal with. Very easy to see out of, but one thing I've had people ask me about in the past, can you leave the camera on the screen when you're driving? Not really sure why you might want that, but I've had people ask about that before. As you can see, yes, you can. And you can actually leave any of the cameras on that you might need where that is concerned. So that answers that particular question. Now, this is obviously a full-size SUV, so it's not going to have the most tight turning radius around. However, it does allow me to make the turn right here. I'm going to turn for the front wheels all the way, miss the curb by I will miss the curb by a good bit. No problem there as far as that goes. And acceleration is definitely not a problem when you go with the 6.2 liter V8 with 420 horsepower. You're going to be able to get up and go when you need to get up and go. All of the technology here, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is very easy to learn and very easy to use. But keep in mind, if you're struggling with something and saying, I'm not sure where whatever it might be, something is located, or how to use it, how to turn it on and turn it off, you will likely find a tutorial right here on YouTube, maybe here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel on that feature. If you can't find what you're looking for, tell me down in the comments section and I will specifically make that video for you and make that happen. Very easy to see out of, whether you're using the rear view camera mirror or not, but it's nice to have that advantage. You've got all those great safety features. The gas and the brake pedal are very easy to manage. Not a problem at all as far as that's concerned, especially for those of you that say, Tom, I just don't want a turbocharged engine. Well, obviously you have a few options where that is concerned when it comes to available engine options with the Yukon. Tell me what you think about the 2025 GMC Yukon AT4. Does it have everything you're looking for? I'm curious to receive your feedback down in the comments section. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this Yukon for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. And if you would, please share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.